What if I told you that Chevrolet just did something the entire automotive world said was impossible? They took one of the most iconic cars ever built, a car your grandfather dreamed about, and turned it into a machine that feels like it came straight out of 2035. And the price? That's where things get even more interesting. Because this is not what anyone expected. This is the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air. And by the time this video ends, you are going to understand exactly why the automotive world has not stopped talking about it since the moment it was unveiled. Welcome back to Premium Automotive Reviews, where we go deeper than the spec sheet, deeper than the press release, and deeper than anything you will find anywhere else. If you are new here, this is the channel where cars are not just reviewed, they are understood. And today, we are breaking down one of the most culturally significant vehicles to be revealed in decades. Now, before we get into what makes this car so extraordinary, and trust me, there are details about this build that most people are completely missing, let us just take a moment to appreciate what is sitting in front of us. Because the moment you see it, something happens. Something instinctive. Your brain says, "I know this car." And then a half second later, it says, "But I have never seen anything like this." That tension, that feeling of familiar and futuristic at the same time, is exactly what Chevrolet was going for. And they absolutely nailed it. Let us start with what hits you first, the exterior. The 2026 Bel Air wears its heritage proudly, but it does not live in nostalgia. The body is unmistakably 1957 in its silhouette. Those sweeping fenders, the iconic tail fins rising like rocket fins from the rear quarter panels, the long hood, the low roofline. All of it echoes the original. But then you look closer. The body has been widened. The fender arches flared dramatically to accommodate massive modern wheels. Those stunning multi-spoke wire-style rims finished in black with deep red accents that match the candy apple metallic paint. The car sits slammed to the ground on an air suspension system, giving it that aggressive, purposeful stance that makes it look like it is already doing 100 miles an hour just sitting still. The paint itself deserves an entire conversation. That deep crimson candy metallic, depending on how the light catches it, it shifts between cherry red, burgundy, and almost maroon. It has the depth of something you could fall into. Paired with the cream white two-tone side accent panel running the length of the body and the carbon fiber roof that replaces the traditional steel top, this car blurs the line between custom build and factory masterpiece so convincingly that you have to remind yourself Chevrolet is presenting this as a production vehicle. Up front, the headlights have been completely reimagined. The classic round housings remain, paying homage to the original, but inside them live modern full LED projector units with DRL halos that cut through the night like surgical instruments. That thin strip of LED lighting, connecting both headlamps across the hood, creates a face that is unmistakably 21st century, while the chrome bumper and crosshatch grille keep the vintage soul intact. From the front, it commands attention the way a film star commands a room, effortlessly, completely. At the rear, Chevrolet preserved the Bel Air's legendary twin tail fin design. But underneath those classic fins lies something thoroughly modern. A carbon fiber diffuser spans the entire width of the rear bumper, flanked by quad exhaust outlets, 2 on each side, finished in a dark chrome that catches light in the most satisfying way imaginable. The taillights retain their teardrop shape, but glow with LED brightness. And that rear end as a whole tells you everything about this car's philosophy. Honor the past, but perform in the present. Now, step inside, and this is where your jaw drops in a completely different way. Because the exterior plays the nostalgia card with modern execution, the interior abandons nostalgia almost entirely and goes full aerospace. Every surface you can see and touch is wrapped in either carbon fiber or deep burgundy quilted leather. The dashboard, door panels, center tunnel, even the headliner. Carbon fiber weave everywhere, catching light from the ambient LED system embedded in the roofliner that creates what can only be described as a starfield above your head. The seats are bolstered racing buckets, trimmed in that same rich burgundy leather with diamond stitching that belongs in a high-end fashion house, not a car showroom. The steering wheel is a flat-bottom unit with the Bel Air script embossed directly into the center, modern in shape, unmistakable in identity. The digital instrument cluster behind it reads like a modern sports car's, full color, fully configurable, giving you everything from navigation to performance metrics in a crisp, wide display. The infotainment screen sits center dash, handling navigation, media, and connectivity through a system that supports wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and an integrated AI assistant that learns your preferences over time. Want the seat position, climate, and your favorite playlist ready before you even close the door? The 2026 Bel Air's system will have all of it waiting for you. The center console houses a secondary touch display for climate and drive modes and the gear selector. A beautifully sculpted billet piece rises from a carbon fiber plinth embossed with the Bel Air name in gold lettering. Everything in here feels intentional. Nothing is an afterthought. There is also a heads-up display projecting speed, navigation, and driver assistance information directly onto the windshield, keeping your eyes where they belong, on the road ahead. And speaking of what lies ahead, let us talk about what this car actually does when you press that throttle. Under the hood, the 2026 Bel Air is reported to be offered with a supercharged V8, producing somewhere in the range of 700 horsepower. 700. In a car that looks like your grandfather's weekend cruiser. That number becomes very real very fast when you understand this car's power-to-weight ratio, the upgraded 6-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters, and the fully independent suspension setup, front and rear, that was engineered for both track-ready precision and boulevard-level comfort. Chevrolet has tuned it to do both without compromise, firm enough to inspire confidence in corners, compliant enough that a long highway run does not punish you. The air suspension system allows the driver to raise or lower the ride height at the touch of a button, meaning this car can tuck to the ground for that show floor slam or ride at a comfortable height for daily use. On top of that, there are multiple drive modes, a comfort setting that softens the throttle and suspension response, a sport mode that sharpens everything up and opens the exhaust to a sound that is deeply, unapologetically American, and a custom mode where you tune every parameter to your exact preference. For those wondering about efficiency, Chevrolet has hinted at a hybrid variant in the pipeline, which would combine the emotional power of a V8 soundtrack with improved range and reduced emissions, a combination that feels very right for a car this significant. The pricing has not been officially confirmed in full detail as production nears, but early indications put the base 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air starting around $95,000, with fully loaded, bespoke specified builds climbing well past a $130,000, depending on trim, powertrain, and customization packages. For a car at this level of engineering, design, and cultural significance, that price positions it not as a mainstream vehicle, but as a serious collector-grade machine that you happen to be able to drive every single day. And that is actually one of the most remarkable things about this car. Its practicality. Despite everything you are seeing, despite the carbon fiber, the 700 horsepower, the show car finish, this is designed to be driven. The visibility is excellent for its era-inspired roofline. The cabin is spacious enough for 4 adults to ride in real comfort. The trunk, while not enormous, handles daily luggage with ease. The technology is intuitive, not overwhelming. This is not a car you put in a climate-controlled garage and stare at on weekends. This is a car that makes every single trip feel like an event. Chevrolet has also woven modern safety systems throughout. Adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assistance, automatic emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and a 360-degree camera system that makes parking this wide, low machine far less nerve-wracking than it has any right to be. It is the kind of safety suite that does not feel like it is fighting the car's character. It feels like a co-pilot who respects that you know how to drive and is simply there when you need backup. What the 2026 Bel Air represents, at its core, is a statement. It is Chevrolet saying, "We know who we are, we know where we came from, and we know exactly where we are going." The car carries 69 years of American automotive mythology in its body panels, and then dares to imagine what that mythology looks like with 2026 technology, 2026 materials, and 2026 ambition. That is not easy to do. Most manufacturers who attempt revival designs produce something that feels like a costume, recognizable, but hollow. This feels like the real thing. It feels alive. If you are someone who has always wanted a car that tells a story the moment it rolls past, that turns every gas station into a gathering and every stoplight into a moment, the 2026 Chevrolet Bel Air was built specifically for you. It is for the person who refuses to choose between heritage and progress, between soul and performance, between turning heads and melting them. This is not just a new car. This is a conversation between the past and the future. And right now, standing here looking at it from every angle, that conversation has never sounded better. If this video gave you a new perspective on one of the most exciting unveilings of 2026, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you have not already, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Would you spec this in another color? Would you daily drive it? Let us know. We read every single one. We will see you in the next one.